We just finished up with the NBA preseason, and the 2020 rookies even managed to snag a regular season game under their belt. This is a day we all thought would never come, but thankfully, along with a full lineup of games to watch, it is here. This was the longest delay of an NBA draft that I've ever witnessed, and we for sure want to know how each team did compared to other teams in a draft where there was so much time to go over so little information. I mean, surely some teams overthought their picks, right? I was dying to know which teams seem to have struck gold in the late lottery and which teams are likely regretting their pick. I've used some advanced metrics and calculations to rank each player and their impact on the team, and some of these revelations are shocking. Others aren't so surprising. So if you're like me and you want to know the actual impact a player has on providing meaningful stats to their team, check out the full video. This also includes a very interesting redraft of the top 10 based on their performance so far. Alright, let's get to that intro. Hey everyone, what's happening? This is Swish, and today I wanted to talk about something a little different. Now, a lot of people don't like numbers when it comes to basketball, and I don't think they tell the whole story either. I do think if you pair numbers with the eye test, and your numbers make sense from that perspective, you might be onto something. I've always done numbers and projections before, so this isn't exactly new to me. I've been able to make a few predictions before with my numbers regarding player performance, and they've actually panned out in the long run. That being said, that's a story for another time, and I want to get into discussing these rookies and how they've managed to do so far. Who has climbed up the ladder, who has gone down, and who fell off the building and had to move into the basement. One thing to note is that one player in the top 10 hasn't seen an NBA floor as of yet, and that is Onyeka Okongwu. We all know that the best ability is availability, so if you don't show up for work, you get canned. Well, that might be an overreaction. We'll have to wait a bit longer to get some information on his play to see where he falls, but for the time being, we'll have to have a top 10 that doesn't include Onyeka. I've also had to include a few picks that were late lottery or just outside of the lottery because some of these lottery picks just haven't been cutting it. That said, I'm very confident in these numbers and that they reflect these guys' performances accurately through the games they've played so far. Another thing to note is that James Wiseman only has one game, so his score will be reflective of that one game only. Also, if the coach doesn't have any confidence in you, that will definitely lower your minutes, which hurts you in these metrics. So players posting up stats on bad teams, that won't work out too well for you, unless you're just absolutely blowing everyone away. When I'm done, I want you guys to post your comments and tell me if you think these numbers match up with what your eye test is seeing. So this won't be your typical top 10. One of the main problems with this is that some guys have fallen out of the top 10, so I'll talk about those guys first. The first guy out of the top 10, which may not be surprising, is Jalen Smith. Smith was drafted by the Phoenix Suns with the 10th pick, and until this day I cannot tell you why. He's a 6'10" forward out of Maryland, averaging 4.6 points and 5 rebounds in 20 minutes of playing time. Maybe it was the glasses, or maybe they were just drafting in typical Suns fashion as of the last couple of years. They lucked out last year with Cam Johnson and were maybe hoping to do the same this year. So far, no good. He's not even in the top 16, and that's about where I capped out. The next person that fell out of the top 10 is LaMelo Ball. Yes, 6'8" point guard LaMelo Ball. I was so high on LaMelo coming into the draft, and I have to say I'm disappointed. Because I followed this kid through high school and saw him travel overseas, I can attest to the fact that something is going terribly wrong in Charlotte. Because these metrics are multi-dimensional, the limited minutes that we saw ended up hurting him. What this says to me is that LaMelo is not a great fit on Michael Jordan's team, and something needs to be done before LaMelo's career is ruined. Originally drafted at number 3, LaMelo is ranked 12th in rookie performance. Without his minutes being taken into account, he would have gone 7th, but the limited floor time is seeing his team impact drop to abysmal levels. LaMelo is averaging 6.8 points and 4.2 rebounds and 3.8 assists in 20 minutes of playing time. Originally drafted at number 12, coming in at number 11 is Tyrese Halliburton. Although he wasn't in the top 10 and still isn't, I felt it only fair to mention his name because he's ranked higher than guys that were taken in the lottery and has actually moved up one spot. Halliburton is a 6'5" point guard for the Sacramento Kings, averaging 7.4 points, 3.4 assists, and 3 rebounds in 23 minutes of playing time. Halliburton is still getting his feet wet and has shown some flashes of high-level plays. He's very quick and long and has been the 11th most impactful rookie on his team this year. And now we're in the top 10. Originally drafted at number 7 and falling 3 spots, coming in at number 10 is Killian Hayes. Hayes is a 6'5" point guard playing for the Detroit Pistons. Killian had a bit of a rough start to the season, seeing stats of 7.6 points, 2.6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists in 21 minutes per game. The lefty was given the keys to the Pistons franchise, and the only limitation on his floor minutes is the man himself. So far, he's shown some improvement in that his first preseason game was his worst performance. His first regular season game was also a bit rough, but I expect to see improvement going forward. At number 9, we have 6'9" forward Obi Toppin. Toppin was originally drafted at number 8 by the Knicks, but fell one spot with averages of 7.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1 assist in 25 minutes of playing time. Toppin is one of those guys benefiting from getting more minutes. As I mentioned before, most metrics penalize guys for playing a lot of minutes, while rewarding a guy who comes to play in garbage time and get a few quick, easy points. If your team is relying heavily on you, there's most definitely a value on that time, so you will see more guys benefiting from these additional minutes where they're carrying the team load. I also account for win ratio, so keep that in mind. At number 8, we have 6'7" shooting guard Devin Vassell. Vassell was drafted by the Spurs with the 12th pick in the draft, and he has been producing for them. He's averaging 11 points, 4.75 rebounds, and 1.5 assists in 25.5 minutes of playing time. Vassell was originally mocked for around 7th or 8th in the draft, but he fell a few spots, with likely a few teams seeing that video of his fairly awkward release just a few days prior to the draft. That said, he certainly would have been worth the 8th pick in this draft. And coming in at number 7, we have 6'9" Deni Avdija. The Washington Wizards draft pick at number 9 has moved up 2 spots and is right in the mix where he was mocked. The Wizards play Deni a lot of minutes, and this has definitely helped his stock as he has been out there on the floor more so than a lot of the other guys on this list. Deni is averaging 9.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 2 assists in 29 minutes of playing time. Deni has played in the EuroLeague for Maccabi Tel Aviv and also in the Israeli League. The 6th most impactful player in this rookie class is 6'6" forward Isaac Okoro. Boy, that's a lot of sixes. I mentioned earlier that Onyeka Okongwu, who was originally drafted at number 6, has not been available, so he's been left off this list, leaving an open spot. Isaac was originally drafted at number 5 by the Cleveland Cavaliers and has benefited quite a bit from the additional minutes he's been getting. It also helps that he's averaging 11.2 points, 2.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 29 minutes of playing time. The Cavaliers have been able to use Okoro to defend anyone from guards to power forwards, and it seems it's been working well enough for the Cavs. They are off to a winning start, taking down the Charlotte Hornets, and can certainly make some noise in the East this year. Now, our top 5 spot is where things start to get very interesting. The next 3 names about to be called are actually a tier above the rest that have already been named. Originally drafted at number 20 by Miami, a 6'8" forward, Precious Achiuwa, is at number 5. This is another player that was actually hurt by minutes played. Now, Precious has actually played 2 less games than other guys on this list, but again, Precious has been very productive for the Heat, averaging 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist in only 19 minutes of playing time. Precious could have easily averaged a double-double with a few more minutes. However, competing with Bam Adebayo for that spot can't be the easiest job. Falling 2 spots to number 3 is 6'4" shooting guard Anthony Edwards. Edwards has been doing well for the Timberwolves so far, averaging 10.8 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.6 assists in 25 minutes of playing time over 5 total games. As some of you guys may recall, Minnesota was struggling with deciding what to do with the pick, and eventually just decided to go with the best fit for their roster, and that pick ended up as no surprise to anyone. Despite the fact that he is now the third best rookie in the class, there's still room for Edwards to move up, and with his confidence building, getting his minutes, getting his reps in, Minnesota will soon start to reap the benefits. With quite a large talent gap, so much so I'd like to call this another tier, and coming in at number 2, after being originally devalued in mock drafts across the entire country and then being drafted at number 15 by the Orlando Magic, 6'2" point guard Cole Anthony is the second most impactful rookie so far this year. The Orlando Magic has seriously lucked out in drafting Cole Anthony, and he is definitely a steal in this draft. The Magic could not have done any better with their 15th pick, and they just might have their Donovan Mitchell moment. Anthony is averaging 12.2 points, 2.6 rebounds, and 4.2 assists in just 22 minutes of playing time. It's safe to say that Cole Anthony is not playing when it comes to separating himself from this rookie class. The numbers show it, and he passes the eye test. And the moment you've been waiting for, which might not come as a surprise, the number 1 ranked rookie in this class, with the numbers putting him almost another tier above Cole Anthony, is 7'1" center James Wiseman. Now, take this for what it is. Wiseman has only played 1 game, but this was a regular season game playing against the regular rotation of the Brooklyn Nets. He has played against the best the Nets had to offer and also their bench players. Take into account this was his only warm-up, and his numbers are just as valid as anyone else on this list. James Wiseman has 19 points and 6 rebounds in his lone game for the Warriors in 24 minutes of playing time. I expect his minutes to be very similar to this going forward, and likely to go up in the near future. In his showing against the Nets, Wiseman was the full package, displaying an arsenal of attack weapons that will be very difficult for opponents to guard. Is he gonna shoot it? If you don't have a 7-foot big man on the perimeter, you will fall victim to Wiseman. If you are a 7-foot big man on the perimeter, you will fall victim to Wiseman. The fact that he's been able to develop as he has to get to where he is as a 19-year-old with just 1 NBA game under his belt, the future looks bright for Wiseman. The Warriors have a generational talent, and the world will see him on full display for hopefully the remaining 71 games of the regular season, and then more in the postseason. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. This took a lot of work to do because I wanted to bring you guys the best. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment on what you think, or if you have any questions. I answer as many question-centric comments as I can and then some. Till next time. Swish.
A block so hard, Switty gets served. Call me Lonzo Ball, bitches get swerved.
Usually I don't get down with these girls, but tonight it's on my mind, so I might eat these words. I just wanna